I am a professor of zoology at the University of Pretoria, where I also direct a research unit called the Conservation Ecology Research Unit. And for the past 22 years, this unit had a specific interest in researching elephants, the savanna elephant to be specific. Conservation is a very difficult concept to define in such a way that you will satisfy all end users. I think the most exciting definition of conservation came about with the Malawian Agreement in 1998, where it stated bluntly that conservation is an activity in which all members of society participate and all members benefit. And secondly, it's all the activities we take to have an ecosystem that can withstand pressure. So it's got high resilience, we call it resilience. So conservation is all about maintaining resilience, so that whatever disturbance comes about in nature, that nature can recover in full. So conservation is more than just keep wildlife numbers increasing all the time. As a matter of fact, if your wildlife numbers are continuously on the increase, you have a crisis at hand. Or if the numbers are going down all the time, you also have a crisis at hand. So in the resilience, you have, i.e., wildlife numbers staying stable over time and across space. It's all this kind of overall thing, where different land use options are integrated, all to the benefits of species, of which we are one. We do need to understand that most wildlife are responding to the environmental conditions that prevails. So if it's an extraordinarily dry decade or two, we will see that starvation induces mortality, deaths, that are occurring at rates higher than births, and as a consequence our population might be going down. But in a decade or two of extraordinary wet conditions, when vegetation productivity is good and protein supplies are good, we may have very good survival, high survival rates, and we have high breeding rates, and our populations go up. But collectively, these two balance out on a zero change. So to fence places off and to provide water and to burn the land and to stimulate growth in grasses and so on are all artificial interventions that are really farming practices. Now, most species, and in our African savannas especially, the bigger bodied species like elephant and buffalo, respond very well to farming practices. If you provide a lot of water at lots of places, you induces changes in the way that animals move across space. You find animals concentrating their activities around water. You find degradation of the land, and you then feel that you have a responsibility to intervene to cancel out this effect. So the land degradation that you're seeing in Hwange has nothing to do with numbers. It has everything to do with the use of the land around the very dense water being provided here. So the degradation must be of such a level that seasonal rain or long-term rainfall events provide for the system to recover, okay, to regain its momentum, regain its productivity and so on. But if this degradation is too much, too intense and too wide, we do not have recovery, and then we are going one way, and that's not successful conservation. So what culling does is it reduces the population to an artificial lowered number. But at this artificial lowered number, resources become in surplus, and here I mean resources being space. So culling is not a conservation tool. It's not a conservation exercise. It's a farming incentive For what you are actually doing is you're stimulating the population to respond, and then you remove the response, and that's harming. This doctrine of hunting being a conservation tool dates back to the days of Roosevelt, who came into Africa and hunted thousands of specimens, claiming that if you hunt and the sportsman can hunt, he will protect the land for the species, and to him that was conservation. Well, that was little Roosevelt's mistake. That is being upheld to this day by several people. Hunting associations and hunters per se saying that they have the right to hunt because hunting conserve. Is to say, I have the right to make war because I want peace. Conservation comes first. Conservation is an activity completely separated from hunting. Is providing, however, an opportunity for the hunt to take place elsewhere than where your primary activity is to conserve. So we've got primary protected areas in Africa, the so-called IUCN category 1 to 4 areas, where it's all about conservation. And then secondary areas, areas 5 and 6, category 5 to 6, the communal lands or game management land, onto which wildlife spills over, and where you have an option to hunt. That option of hunting is a land use option, a legitimate one, and an excellent one. It's not contributing to conservation. It contributes to the ethos and the demands of a specific group within society.